Good morning and welcome back to another hot episode of Crystal's Hot Seat. Today we're talking to Rachael Willis, and it's things you need to know about the insurance business. And here's your host.
Hey everybody, good morning and welcome to this edition of Crystal's Hot Seat. In the hot seat today we have the lovely Rachael Willis talking about life insurance, which is a serious topic, but something conversation we all need to have. And Rachael, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I know there's so many different insurance options out there. How can we navigate through them all?
Well, the first thing that you need to do is find a company that you're comfortable with working with, okay? And that would be like to find an agent or one of the many companies or various companies that are out here to determine what type of life insurance that you need. And in order to do that, normally you'll find the company that you're interested in. Once you go to the company, then they will do what they call a needs analysis. And they do an assessment based on your age, what the need is, if you're newly married, if you have a child, if you are purchasing for your parents, or if you purchased a new home. Whatever the need is determines what type of insurance program that we need to place you in and what's most suitable for you at that time in your life.
Now, how long does that process usually take, or what should we bring in to be prepared for that?
If you have other insurance policies, we ask you to bring those policies in so that we can assess it. If not, if you're new, you just come in and we know how to pull the information from you. But you don't really need anything other than a valid driver's license and your scenario. Tell us exactly what it is that you're looking for, why the need is there, and we'll do an assessment to gather information, and then we'll determine what type of products are best suited for that need.
How would you recommend a person to have a conversation with, let's say, a parent who probably needs or does not have life insurance? Like, why do you think it's important to have it, and then how do you approach that subject of getting life insurance with the parent? Because it could be very dreadful.
Well, in most cases, some parents have insurance while they're working. And then when they leave, they don't realize that they lost that policy after they retired.
Right.
So when they don't have insurance, it's important to just ask them, in the event of your death, are your financial affairs taken care of? And if they're not, then sit down with them and say, is this something that you would like to talk to me about, or can I talk to you about it? Because it's a concern of mine. If something were to happen to you, if I'm going to be responsible for taking care of you or making sure that your last will and testament is taken care of, I want to make sure that I'm doing what you're wanting me to do. And if you don't have insurance, I may be the person that has to pay for it if they're based on a fixed income. And so, you have to have those discussions and let them know that, are we going to keep the house? Do you want the house sold? What is it that you're wanting done in the event that you pass away? We have pre-need insurance policies for those people that would like to purchase their caskets and plan their funeral ahead of time.
Now, that seems to be really popular now.
It really is.
Wow.
And it's important because it stops the children from having to make the decision. Sometimes they have questions like what color they want the casket to be, what type of casket they wanted, if they wanted to be cremated, if they wanted a regular traditional burial. There's so many different variations of how a person is buried and what they want and how they want it. What the pre-need does is it allows them to make those decisions for themselves.
Wow.
So that the children don't have to. And then once the decision is made, it's irrevocable, and you've made that decision. It's what you've decided that you want. We keep a record of it on file. You have a record of it. In the event that you pass, your children bring that to the funeral home of whatever one you've chosen. And we just kind of follow the guidelines of what was given to us to make sure that we meet those needs and that we take care of what you'd asked us to take care of. And that way there's no pressure on the children to have to make decisions, because that's really not a time to make decisions for a family member not knowing what it was that they wanted with you or for you upon your passing.
Absolutely, and that just puts me in mind. My mother always said she wanted her body cremated and sprinkled behind her favorite restaurant, which I know she was just joking about it, but yeah. But
okay.
So definitely have those conversations
Right.
with your parents. And tell us, so basically all those things can be taken care of at your office. Tell me about your office.
Yes, the office is Insurance Master Advisors, and we have several advisors here that will sit down with you and, like I said, do the need analysis with you. We work with several of the funeral homes in the city, and so whatever funeral home you decide that you want to work with, we're more than happy to set up a program for you with them. If you're just looking for basic life insurance programs, we also offer those. If you're just coming in and you're not looking at you do want to make sure that you get married, but you have things like a mortgage that you want to protect, or you have children that you want to leave money to, or you have a program that you trying to send a young child to college or something of that nature. We have those types of programs available for you. So whatever the insurance need, we'll do the analysis. We'll sit down with you. We'll go through everything, because depending upon your age, your insurance needs change according to your age as well. So again, depending on the product that we put you or place you in, determines, it's based on that need at that time in your life. So we have permanent insurance that lasts you to your age 100 and over. We have programs that are 20-year programs, 30-year programs. It really just depends. But we have advisors here at Insurance Masters that can help you with that, to make those decisions.
At what age do you suggest a person, take out a policy on themselves?
If your parents didn't take one out at birth, then I suggest that when you're around 18, 19 years old, or when you get your first job, you should purchase your first insurance policy. Because the one thing you want to make sure is that you have a proper burial.
Yes.
Okay? Now, right now, a lot of us, I would say middle-aged people, we're having to take care of our family members. We're having to take care of our parents. At the same time, we're having to take care of 20 and 30-year-old kids. So myself personally, I have insurance policies on my 3 sons. I also know that my parents have insurance policies that they've had from childhood. We used to have a gentleman by the name of Mr. Brown, who was our personal insurance agent. And he's the one that kind of got me into the industry, or got me into the love of purchasing insurance and buying and selling insurance, because he came to the house every holiday. He sent birthday cards to all of us all the time. He would pick up my parents' premiums every month. He would also sell them new products and services as the insurance industry changes and products change. He would always come and do an upgrade with them, and basically talk to them about their insurance policy, and bring the calendar for Christmas every year, and different things of that nature. So he was such a great role model in the insurance industry, such a great man, and he had a conviction in his heart to make sure that every family member in our household, would be taken care of at the time of death. And for those of us that were going to college, there was money in those policies for us to be able to go to college. So depending on, like I said, my parents' needs at that time, Mr. Brown kind of walked them through as youth at that time, all the way up until his passing, of how insurance would take care of our family, and how and what insurances that they needed. So.
Awesome, great. So for people who are just watching, so tell us your location and just what you offer here at your office.
We're at 3937 Pines Road, Suite E, and like I said, we're a full-service insurance office. We offer the term insurance, your whole life insurance, any type of insurance product that you're needing. One thing about it is, if we don't write it, we'll definitely refer it. So we have partners within the city that we do business with. So we go out and we do seminars to educate the community. We participate in a lot of community events to let people know that we are out here. But our main goal, again, is to make sure that every family is covered. We have policies that range from $8 a month to whatever you want to spend, depending on whatever the need is. So we have something for everybody.
And how long do you have to have a policy for, if that makes sense? Like, let's say you take out one and a week, and then that person dies within 2 weeks.
Okay. Normally when you purchase an insurance policy, at the date in which the transaction takes place, which is the day that you give the agent the money, the money the agent represents the insurance company. When they represent the insurance company, that means that if something were to happen to you, as long as you did not mislead or put any misleading information on your insurance policy, you're covered. But there's what they call a 2-year contestability period, which means that the company has the right to look back 2 years to make sure that everything that was placed on that application is correct. So if you wrote an insurance policy this week, you passed away next week, they're going to look at how did you pass away. If you passed away from cancer or heart disease or something of that nature, they're going to contest the policy.
All right.
If they don't contest the policy because it was an accident, they'll normally just pay that policy right out.
Well, you're definitely very informative and knowledgeable about the insurance agency, so we enjoy talking to you about this and picking your brain. So we want you to stay right here in the hot seat. We're going to take a quick commercial break, everybody. We'll be right back with Rachael Willis here on the hot seat. Stay with us.
I'm Crystal Turner with Crystal's Kiss. I'm an international makeup artist. Whether it be a wedding, a pageant, or just an everyday look, every face deserves a kiss.
Just the way you look tonight.
Take Libby home for the holidays. Call now for your free entertainment guide.
Alrighty. Come on, fork it over. You want to try Candyland?
Stevens, I need you to escort a prisoner on a deathbed visit.
My mama's dying, and you're taking it down. 36 hours. What if I die?
Don't turn your back on the prisoner. Don't let the prisoner out of your sight. And whatever she says, don't believe it.
For the next 36 hours, I own you.
Can we go now?
No, you don't tell me when to go. I tell you when to go, okay? Okay, let's go.
We're gonna have a good time. Just maybe. I got 6 months. I'm not going anywhere. Now I can eat like a lady.
Now, one thing I learned in this world, you gotta help yourself because no one else will. Hey, hi. Could you give me a ride?
Hop on board.
Awesome.
I can't believe you. You had 6 months left, and now, what are you thinking? This is where you grew up?
Home, sweet home.
Mother, I'm here. Oh my God, you're still with us.
I want you to stay away from my granddaughter.
My daughter? I would like to meet her someday, all right? Let's go.
She wants to pay me off to not see my kid. It's not right.
No, it isn't.
Where are we?
You wanted to see your daughter.
Yeah, no, not now, not like this.
Anderson, you're going away for a while, so I think now's the time.
Hello?
If I could talk to my mother, I'd tell her I didn't care what she did in the past. She could visit any time.
I think it's best if we forget about this weekend. Our little secret.
If you like to win tickets to go see the Saints in New Orleans or win gift cards from Fandango, please go to iKoalaRadio.com and check out the rules. Closed caption is brought to you by Habaneros, Mexico's urban cuisine restaurant.
Hey, good morning and welcome back. Or if you're just now joining us, we have Rachael Willis with Insurance Master Advisor in the hot seat talking about a very important but vital subject this morning. Good morning, Rachael.
Good morning.
All right, so before our break, we were talking about just the different policies and just a contested policy. Tell us, just for regular people out there, what exactly is it and how does that affect us?
Okay, contestability just means that the insurance carrier has 2 years to look back to see if all the information on the policy is accurate. If they decide to contest a policy, that means that they're going to give you your money back, but they will not pay the full face amount of the policy. Okay, so if somebody passes away and they die of a heart attack, the insurance company wants to look back at their insurance records just to make sure that the information that was on the application is accurate and that they didn't mark no, they've never had heart issues. Now, if it is a new heart issue and it had never been in the Medical Insurance Bureau or on any records and it's something brand new, then the company is going to pay out. But if there's anything on there that's a discrepancy, they have the right to not pay that claim and just return the policyholder's monies.
Wow.
So.
And you know, there's several different companies in our Shreveport-Bossier area here just alone or just throughout the Arklatex. Tell me more about Insurance Master Advisor and what sets you apart.
Well, I think what sets us apart is that we are more personable. And what I mean by that is that we still knock on the door. We're not knocking on the door to pick up premiums. We're knocking on the door just to make sure that our families are okay and just to introduce them to new products and services that we offer. We want to provide quality customer service. We want to get to know the families that we're doing business with, just like Mr. Brown did with us. We want to get to know our families and know that we're serious. We're more than just a brick and mortar building. At the time of death, we want to be there to make sure that we're providing for that family member. Whoever may pass, they need to know that we're there, that we're taking care of things the way that we had promised or committed to our insurance holder. So, those are things that separate us. 2, we also do our annual reviews. We meet with our clients that we write policies for on an annual basis just to make sure that everything is okay. Again, we want to grow with each of our family members. The reviews are really important because the insurance policies, products sometimes change and people are unaware of it. Sometimes, like a grandmother may be one of our insured, and she kind of keeps her information private. So if we don't know the aunts, the uncles, or whoever's going to be left behind, we try to establish relationships with everybody so that everybody knows, okay, this is what grandmother wants. We're the insurance company that's been handling these affairs for her. At the time of need, please contact us. We want to be that first call. We want to be there to be able to walk the family through just to make sure that everything is the way that grandma had asked for it to be. And so, again, with our annual reviews that we do, with the personalization that we have, with the, I want to say seriousness and dedication of all the agents that represent Insurance Master Advisors. Again, we're community-based. We want to take care of the community. Our job is to educate. Whether you do business with us is really not the issue. It's that you have an insurance policy and that your family is taken care of. If you are purchasing insurance through somebody else, we don't mind reviewing those policies because it's important that you know what it is that you have. If somebody goes to meet with one of my clients, I would like for my client to be in a position to know what it is that they have, know what somebody's trying to sell them, know that if that, whether that one is better than the one that I've issued them or whatever the case is. It's important that the client is educated on what they have, what they don't have, and what it is that they need. And we do a pretty good job of that.
Totally a night and day comparison to, as we were talking about in the break, just being online and just looking at the different insurance options that you can just click on, like right in front of your computer screen, and you're actually there face to face with that person. Right, and on the ads that you see online, they'll say, oh, well, you're 20 years old or 40 years old and you can get a $250,000 life insurance policy. Well, that's just to entice you. Once you really get into the nuts and bolts of what it entails to get that policy or what medical questions they're going to ask about that policy, you may or may not qualify. Wow. So again, you do have to qualify for insurance, and healthy people qualify for insurance. People that are not so healthy, they have an opportunity to be able to get insurance, but there's different types of insurances that are set aside for people that have medical conditions. One thing about Insurance Master Advisors is that we have a product for everybody. If you have cancer, if you've had a stroke, if you're uninsurable, we write the uninsurable. There is something for everybody. There's something that fits everybody's financial constraint here. The advantage that I have is that I'm not captive with any particular company, so I have an opportunity to write through several companies. The companies that I've chosen to write business through are over 100 years old. These companies grow, they evolve, they provide quality training. The agents are trained thoroughly. They come in from out of town to do training for me. So we're experts in the field of insurance. We do what we do the best as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. We are committed to serving our community. We are committed to educating the public. Again, we're not as concerned about you doing necessarily business with us as much as we're concerned about you doing business with somebody. There's too many times that in this community somebody passes away and they don't have insurance. Yeah. And that's a problem. They have the GoFundMe accounts and they have all these different policies sometimes that don't even cover the burial. So people are going to their churches to try to get assistance with the burial, or they're going to the funeral home asking for assistance to be buried. And there's really no need because there's programs that are available to everybody for whatever the reason is. And like I said again, I want to take the responsibility for Insurance Master Advisors being one of those companies that is committed to seeing that everybody has that need taken care of. Right, good job. And one of my questions I have for you is just how much information should we give if a person called your office? Just medical information, just what all do you need to know? When you call our office, we normally like to sit with you face to face. But basically the kind of questions that we want to know is what your health situation has been in the last 5 to 10 years. Now one thing that I say that a lot of clients do is they volunteer information that's not on the application. And
It's not really good to volunteer information necessarily, because if it's not listed, but you volunteer it, we have to write it down in the comments. So if I don't ask you a certain question, you know, some people, like my parents want to divulge a whole lot of information. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I didn't need that. I don't need to know that or whatever. That's not one of the questions. So it's important that when you do the application that you answer the question specifically the way that we ask it. Now, if you do have health issues that are concerns that you feel like may hinder you getting a policy, or there's something there that we need to know, we do want you to disclose information because we want to do a full evaluation for you. But things that may have happened, or like when you were 3 years old and you're 50, we don't really need to know. It's not really important. But we do ask like just basic questions about your health to determine where you would qualify and what type of programs that we need to put you in.
Some people wanted to know, this is a great question for some people, if you have a policy, as you mentioned earlier, and that policy is expired, is there any cash value to it at all, or is it just obsolete?
Well, that goes back to the types of programs and policies that are offered. They have policies that do have a cash value in them. And in some scenarios, you can borrow against the cash value in the policy, or you can surrender the policy to get the cash value out of the policy. Okay? Then you have policies that once it's considered a loan, you have to pay that money back. If you don't pay the money back, if you pass away before paying it back, they deduct it from the face amount of the policy. Okay? So there are policies that do that, and there are policies that there's a cash value amount of money in there, and you have a face amount of the policy, and you can pull the cash out without it affecting the face amount of the policy. So again, everything is determined by the type of product that you purchase, what the need of that policy is for you, and what you're trying to get from it. And based on your information that you provide us, we make that determination as to what is better suited, or what type of product or service that we need to provide at that time.
And it seems like you definitely have, as you said, a connection in the community. Talk more about your background. You've been working in the insurance and funeral industries for a while, so let us know about that. I've
been in the insurance industry for over 31 years. And like I said, I was intrigued by the insurance agent that came to my parents' home, who they purchased insurance through. And when I was 17 years old, I was introduced into the industry, and I loved it because it gave me flexibility. I made money, and it gave me the opportunity to have a lot of flexibility in my life. So as I got older and I became a mother and a wife and those things, it gave me the autonomy and freedom to, one, be challenging on the job, you know, and be competitive, because there were a lot of awards to win and a lot of trips to go on. And it gave me the freedom to be able to be everything that I needed to be to my family, to take care of my 3 sons, because they were athletes, and they were athletes when they got older, but when they were younger, they needed me a little bit more. So I was able to work, you know, in the home and handle my children and my family business as well as the work environment, because I was able to balance the both of them. So this is a great industry for those people that need that type of freedom to be able to balance home life and your work life, because again, I'm very competitive myself. And in these working with these insurance carriers, they offer wonderful trips. I mean, they really do. Besides the pay being great, they offer all types of contests and different things that just make the job itself fun. So you're able to do that and still have your own independence and, you know, be competitive. And at the same time, go home and take care of all the needs of your family, because, again, it's a flexible enough job to be able to do that.
Sounds like you may be attracting some people to come here and apply.
Well, I would hope so. I would hope so.
You may get somebody off the street to come and apply. You may have some new workers.
That is always a plus. You know, if you're looking for diversification, if you're looking for flexibility, if you're looking for pay, you know, the great thing about our position too is when we write business, we get paid to do business. So if you want to give yourself a raise, you're in control of that. You know, that doesn't happen often, but in the insurance industry, that's the greatest thing about it, is that we get paid based on how hard we work.
Well, if a person did want to apply to you, to your job, like, do they need to bring in a resume, application, and what would their hours be?
They could bring in a resume, and the job, again, is flexible. And so it just in the field. They kind of set their own hours. They work. One thing about being an insurance agent is it may be 9 o'clock at night and you're at a football game and somebody starts talking to you about insurance. And so you're almost always on the clock. But how you set your hours up and how you serve your client is strictly up to you. Our office is open from 10 to 5. And so, you know, we have people that come in to visit with us and we meet clients here at the office. Sometimes we meet them at their homes. You know, sometimes we meet them at Starbucks or wherever it is that they want to meet. Whatever's the most convenient for the client is where the agent is going to go.
So again, before we head out, like if a person is watching this and they don't have any insurance, all right, so what should they do and why is it important for them to get a policy? Or is it too late?
It's not too late. It's never too late to get an insurance policy. And if you don't have a policy, then you can contact us at 318-562-6876. And we can share with you the types of policies that we offer, and we can go through what may be most suitable for you. And the reason why we think that, again, everybody should be insured is because you don't want to put that burden on your family. If something, God forbid, happens to you prematurely, you don't want the burden of your family having to collect money on your behalf or to figure out how they can take care of your burial. So.
And where are you located again?
We're located at 3937 Pines Road, Shreveport, Louisiana.
So this is definitely a very serious and important conversation.
Yes.
Don't want to leave that for your family. So we thank you so much, Rachael, for being in the hot seat. Hopefully it was okay for you.
Yes.
It didn't look like you sweat at all. So I think you were pretty cool, calm, collected.
Well, thank you.
One. So we thank you so much, and we'll have that information, and we will see you guys next Sunday morning. So have a great